What's up, everybody? It's good to be back. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the Florida State Spring Game. Alabama's going to be playing Florida State in the first game of the season this upcoming year. There's going to be some new faces on both teams. Both teams lost a few people here and there, both returning their quarterbacks, their young quarterbacks. It's going to be an interesting matchup, a lot of fun. So I just want to kind of get started on the preview talk with just a little analysis of the Florida State game. Today, I'm probably just going to show you the first quarter of the game. Well, not show it to you, but give you my analysis on things that I saw. You can go back and look at it as well. And I'll probably give some general overview as I go along. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. So, a few little notes here and there that I kind of got picked out for the Florida State teams that they're returning a few people. They're returning a guy who didn't play much last year, who was a freshman All-American, if I'm not mistaken, in Derwin James. So he's back from injury, and he's like a tweener, do-it-all, hybrid-like player that's becoming like all the rage these days. So I noticed immediately that's a comparison that Florida State has with Alabama. We have a guy like that in our secondary too, Minka Fitzpatrick, who play outside corner, play slot corner, play safety, and Derwin James can do all of those things as well. Very talented guy. Number 3, look out for him. Season play. I saw him do a lot in the spring game. He rushed, he covered tight ends, he covered receivers. He was all over the place. I like the kid. Also, former commit of Alabama, but turned later on in the year, Cam Akers is on Florida State's team. He's wearing number 3. He looked pretty good out there as a freshman. I saw a few things here and there, and I was like, I see why Alabama wanted him. But he's going to be on Florida State, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not he gets playing time behind, Patrick and whatnot. Also, they have McFadden, one of their DBs, recovering from a shoulder injury. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes along and if he's going to be available when the season starts. I also noticed that last year, Francois, he was a redshirt freshman last year. He's going to be a redshirt sophomore this year. He completed 58.8% of his passes last year. So not the best percentage, but the percentage doesn't always tell the full story. But it was pretty solid, especially for a redshirt freshman. He had a 20 touchdown to 7 interception ratio, so solid protecting the ball. Probably looking to be more prolific scoring the ball this year. Also with the spring game, it was a little hard in general to kind of get a gauge of how to judge them. Alabama does first string offense versus first string defense, and they both have the second string correlating pieces. Florida State doesn't do it like that. Florida State has an interesting thing under Jimbo Fisher. Speaking of Jimbo Fisher, he was a former Saban disciple, and they don't beat Nick Saban, but that's going to be an interesting side story coming up into the game. But yeah, Jimbo Fisher allowed the captains of the team to draft players. So they choose which players they want on their team. So, for example, I guess Francois, he may have been a captain, and then somebody on defense like Derwin James may have been a captain, and they chose which players they wanted on their respective teams, and then they played each other. So they had some first string, second string, third string guys on both teams, and you don't know who was who in what position. But a lot of these guys are talented and they play. So keep that in mind from giving some analysis. So this is nowhere near like a end-all, be-all say on what Florida State is like or what they will be like in the upcoming season. Interesting fact, though. Francois had the 3rd most drop-back sacks or hits in the nation last year. So as he dropped back, he got hit or sacked the 3rd most out of any quarterback in the NCAA. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. Their offensive line, see how it holds up against the Alabama new defensive front. We lost a few pieces, so it's gonna be a bit of rotation there, see who plays and whatnot. But he got hit or sacked 79 times, a crazy number. Also, they lost Marquez White, who was drafted by my Dallas Cowboys late in the draft as a DB. So they're replacing a couple of DBs, and so we'll see what happens there. And just in general, they also led the football bowl subdivision, Division 1, in scores in the red zone. So they capitalized on the red zone opportunities pretty well last year. So none of that stuff necessarily translates this year, but it's just important information, to keep in mind. Also, they have this guy, number 99 on the defensive line. Look out for him, Brian Burns, athletic, tall guy with some speed. Pretty cool. So anyway, let's jump right into it. This is the first quarter. So I noticed on the first play, I noticed that Florida State in general really likes to run two tight ends, a fullback, two wide receivers. They like to get down to this pro style offense set, and I really love to see that. So it was fun to watch them actually. So first play of the game, they went shotgun, set left, which means the running back to the left of the quarterback, and they had an H back, basically like a tight end, to the left as well, and they had three wide receivers. And then I noticed that the defense was playing 4-3 defense, and this is something they like to do. They had their left end out wide. Look at how many times. You're going to see me say this a few times. The end is out wide. For some reason, they really like to do that. And they played man coverage on this play. It was an incomplete pass to the tight end. By the way, this is Francois coming out first. Incomplete pass to the tight end. But that's irrelevant, just a simple play. The next play was the same formation on offense. They had good protection, so that's a good sign over last year when they got hit really bad. But the zone coverage was really good, and he had nowhere to throw the ball. Now on a third down in this same possession, they had good protection again, but it was excellent man-to-man coverage by number 33. So some of these guys I don't know them as well as Alabama, so I'll do a little bit more research as we get closer to the game. Number 33, good man-to-man coverage on the tight end. Wasn't able to really get it completed. So, two plays in a row where the Florida State secondary held up pretty well, even though they were facing some guys and guys coming back from injury. Now, at the 13-minute, 51-second mark of the first quarter, there was a quick pitch to the halfback on the second team. This is the second team offense this time. I think the quarterback was Constantino. Number 16? Yeah, number 16, I believe. And this halfback is number 7. I'm not aware of his name, or I think I got it a little bit later. Maybe he's a senior or something like that. I remember something. You'll probably hear it later. I think I did get his name later, but number 7. And it goes well down the sideline. So it was actually a pretty well blocked play and great use of number 7's talent and showing off his speed and vision on this play. So their running back situation seems to be pretty solid, if not great solid, because they have a few guys. At the 13-minute, 23-second mark, good protection for number 16, Constantino. And but he panicked, unfortunately, as he had time and he threw an incompletion. So I think a lot of these quarterbacks, Constantino, Francois, and then the freshman number 10, who you'll hear about later, maybe in the second, third, fourth quarter, whenever he came in, I forgot. They're probably used to bad protection. And so when they had a little bit more time, they panicked a little bit. So he threw an incompletion there. At the 13-minute, 17-second mark, it was good time again, but number 16, he got a good throw this time. So, he didn't panic this next time. He actually threw the ball pretty well, and it was man-to-man coverage there. At the 13-minute, 12-second mark, it was a run, but the defense flew to the ball, and they got a big loss out of it. So Florida State, pretty fast and aggressive on their defense. And I noticed here, just want to notice, Florida State likes to use the shotgun formation with 3 wide receivers and 1 H-back. So they like that look. They like what that gives them, or at least they like to get as many wide receivers on the field, to create mismatches and whatnot. So that'll be something to look out for. At the 11-minute, 22-second mark, here he is, number 9. He reminds me of Bo Scarborough a little bit because of how big he is. Not necessarily that they play the same or that he's as good as Bo Scarborough, but they have a big back type guy too. And his name is Jacques Patrick. Here at this play at the 11-minute, 22-second mark, he got the handoff from the shotgun. That's why I said he's a big guy. He reminds me of Bo Scarborough. Not quite as fast, though. He's a bit slower. At the 10-minute, 45-second mark, Francois from the pistol, he comes up and changes the play to a running play. So he knows how to read the defense a little bit, or at least recognize certain things, at least his own defense. So he knows how to change the play. He changed to a running play. Jacques Patrick took the handoff and got a nice gain here. So it was a good check by Francois to check it to a run. But on that play, number 7 on the defense, I don't know his name, he took a bad angle and allowed Patrick to get around. 10-minute, 14-second mark, It was a handoff to the left outside handoff to Patrick, and he got a few yards. And like I said, I know that he's not that fast, but he can pick his holes pretty well, so he has good vision. At the 9-minute 2-second mark, Cam Akers is in the backfield, the freshman. Remember I told you about him. They had a tight end. There was an H-back. Remember I said they like the 2 tight end sets, or at least a tight end and an H-back, with the fullback, and they had 1 wide receiver. So they go to this pro-style set, a little bit more old-school football here. It was a running play. Akers makes a cut and runs downhill. I like that. This is what I say. I see why Nick Saban wanted to get this guy. He reminds us of former Alabama backs who know how to get to the hole, make their cut, and run. At the 8-minute 40-second mark, there was quick pressure on a play-action pass leading to Francois. And the reason why I'm looking down, so I'm looking at my notes. Led to Francois throw it away. He threw the ball away here because the quick pressure got there, so offensive line couldn't hold up pretty well. At the 8-minute 29-second mark, there were 4 down linemen. And number 11, I believe this. Yeah, number 11 was out wide at left end. So that left end spot really likes to be out pretty far. They like to do that, I guess, to get like a pass rush off the edge. But they leave the inside guys, and the other end, they play pretty normal position on the line. But the left end goes out far. The 6-minute 18-second mark, Francois shows his arm strength and accuracy on a short throw to number 82. He got the ball. He fitted in there. Yeah, it was like what? Oh yeah, it was on a slant. So like the ball, he got it to the guy right between like the person defending him and the person who was coming to hit him. He had fit the ball in there with good arm strength and with good touch. Otherwise, it would have been intercepted or incomplete. But he got him. Unfortunately, though, Derwin James hit him and he popped it out. I think it was James. Yeah, James and House, the 2 guys, the one defending him and the one who was about to put the hit on him. They both came together and hit him as he caught the ball. So it was a good show of passing skills by Francois, but the ball was knocked loose by the defender, so it was a good play. 5-minute 30-second mark. The gold team, I don't remember who was who at this point. Oh, they were on defense here. The gold team put about 6 people on the line of scrimmage. 6, and this wasn't the only time they did this. They like to do 5 or 6 people on the line of scrimmage when they want to pressure the quarterback or pressure the run game. And this was one of the first times I noticed it. I say it. FSU likes to do that. It seems they like to do that quite a bit. At the 5-minute 23-second. The reason why I make a note of that is because when you put a lot of people on the line of scrimmage, if all of them get blocked, that leaves a lot of open space behind you. So they have a lot of confidence in the defenders to pick the right gaps, get to the holes, and not get blocked and allow for the running back to get to the next level pretty fast. Now, where was I going next with that? At the 5-minute 23-second mark, number 16, this is Constantino, he threw a nice short route to number 6. I don't know who number 6 is yet. And he had good pass protection as well. So Constantino seems to have a grasp of offense and have confidence. He's really vying for showing him that he could be that second-string quarterback, and most likely he wants to battle for that first-string spot too. But he probably won't get it from Francois. The 4-minute 37-second mark, it was an inside handoff to Patrick. I'm not sure if I think it was the Garnett team. Yeah, I think they were Garnett. But yeah, inside handoff again. So they like doing inside handoffs. The 4-minute 20-second mark, it was a nice blitz by Derwin James. And as I said before, he can really fly. I noticed that he's fast. I see why he was an All-American. He's a talented kid, definitely can do quite a bit of things. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays and what they want him to do against Alabama. And he got in the backfield quick. Like, he blitzed and he got there, and they couldn't do anything about it. 3-minute 45-second mark. The left guard got beat easily. He just got pushed right into the quarterback. It was nothing Francois could do, so Francois had to take off. And he got a nice little gain out of it. The 2-minute 55-second mark. And Francois has some wheels. He can really move. He didn't do it a whole bunch last year, and he probably didn't want to get him hurt. But he can actually move pretty well. He's pretty mobile. 2-minute 55-second mark. Play action pass by Constantino going deep. And it was a 9 route Yeah, so it's basically just a go route, send the receiver all the way down the field. But number 19, I believe his name is Jackson. His last name is Jackson. At cornerback, he had it covered up pretty well. I think he was on top of the receiver, so he didn't bite on the play action at all. So there was a good play by the secondary there. The 2-minute 42-second mark, Constantino showing off his arm strength and touch here with a strong high throw to number 82. Number 82 had a pretty good game. The tight ends actually, they like to utilize their tight ends pretty well. I wish Lane Kiffin had took note of this when we had OJ Howard. No, I'm messing around. We let Lane. Lane's cool. It's number 82. And so at the 2-minute 3-second mark, there was a run again out of the two wide receiver I formation. Looked like they like to give. Like I said, they did this quite a bit. They like that formation, and they like to run out of it. So so they have a tendency to run when they have the two wide receivers, two tight ends, or H-back, fullback look, which makes sense. It's a heavy play, so play action will probably come out of that quite a bit. At the 1-minute 30-second mark, Constantino looks like he only read one side of the field. And the reason why I say it is because he looked up and he looked on his side and it seemed like he didn't have anything there and he kind of threw it away. But on that play, he threw it at that side of the field and Burns knocked it down. But yeah, on that play, number 99, remember that guy I was talking about, that talented guy, Brian Burns? Talented, long, lanky, speedy. He jumped up and he just knocked it down. Like I said, he's rangy. Apparently, he led the Division One in sacks for freshmen last year. So he's a talented guy, obviously. So he's going to be someone to look out for. He's 6'5", but here's the thing: he only weighs 218 pounds, so he's a lean guy. He's pretty small. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes up against Jonah Williams, who's a 6'6", 300-pound left tackle for Alabama, who can move pretty well. So it's going to be fun to watch. I think Williams is 6'5". Either way, pretty big, both pretty big guys. Williams has more girth, so it'll be interesting to see that speed match up there, and whether or not Burns picks up any weight over the offseason. At the 1-minute 25-second mark, Burns was a stand-up rusher, so they kind of had him like in a jack linebacker type position, even though they weren't running 3-4. And he was at the right end spot, and he easily, I repeat, easily beat the left tackle, number 75. You got to put if you're a Florida State fan, put left tackle number 75 on blast because he got beat pretty bad. Go look at that play. 1-minute 25-second mark. He just went right around him. So, yeah, that's it for my first quarter analysis here. And that was a good play to end that on because it was pretty cool. Go check that out. Let me know what you think about it. By the way, this is just the beginning. I'm going to do second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. See you for the next video. Let me know what you think about some of the plays I highlighted here. If you think I missed something or if you have some names for me, put them in the comment section and we'll talk about them. See you guys next time.